Right. And moving.
Carlos, with regards to supporting the project and also the Prive community and all of that as well, more especially the Motome landslide?
Okay. First of all, the TNAP organization we established here in Freetown, where we office there now number 34 Pike Street. It's a youth-driven and a God-centered organization where they work relentlessly for support. Organization like the Transit Hills, where NBC, then they visit them communities there. So then they identify people where NBC now victims them of disasters them where can erupt in the country and then different communities them. So TNAP they provide support to Transit Hill organization for see how best they're able to implement the activities them across the country and also at community level. TNAP we get volunteers in at TNAP where NBC we can also support Transit Hill not only with logistical support, technical support, and also we get over 50 volunteers across the country. In a case wherein Transit Hill need the manpower, in a case wherein they need financial support, in a case wherein they need technical support, we provide all of them support here to them because TNAP in focus on empowering young people, creating safe spaces for young people in maximizing their potentials, able for create an enabling environment wherein young people are able for say, oh yes, in as much as this or in as much as that, but we're able to get the support from this particular organization, we're able to move on amidst this crisis, amidst this disaster, but we're able to move on with real life.
What are the key objective in supporting Transit Hill, because them probably they implement in our support and also ensure say then go to community, deprived community, know then challenges and also and come back to and telling us, we need so and so support with regards to helping deprived communities.
Yeah, now that go with thematic area of operation as an organization, we focus on empowering young people with livelihoods, lifetime opportunities, in the case of disaster, eruption, and also we also get economy as part of the thematic area of operation as an organization. Having a disaster like that when a mudslide, it's an economic shock in the life of young people, and because when a particular incident they be happen, there was one ton of destruction of civilian lives and properties in a particular place there. So we can provide support. We key objective as an organization. Now for see our best, we help organizations them out via like Transit Hills for implement the initiatives them. They already get the activity plan, they get the work plan for the year or for the 6 months, when they present to we as an organization, we look into them and then we support them in the climate aspects for CRBS, then we're able to actualize them projects and we geared towards climate change and environmental protection. So we key objective as an organization for CRBS, we able for support them, give them the requisite support where they need for see our best then go about for implement the activities across the country in our different disaster prone areas then.
Okay, before I come to Fatuma, Lala bring in Roland into the conversation. You want to talk about some of the intervention, as transit heal. We not do so far, not in deprived communities and more especially the Motomek community.
Well, we're a young organization and we just start. So now we get like this council of Madusu way we work with in close collaboration, and we organize for make we in sync with the community for make we able for ensure that each and every year we commemorate them. And now we don't decide for we start a research in which every month for now we try to develop a video of them disaster prone areas there, so because we believe if we come up with them videos there so and we begin to showcase what's they happen all around the country, then it capture the eyes and the minds of people them for make people then take the necessary action for how we mitigate against climate change, the effects of climate change. And we not get for left and so we intend to work with the Ministry of Environment, the EPA, NPA, and we want when they come up, they really help for prevent deforestation within the country, because that one major thing and they face where they increase the climate change effects them. So areas that will not be even disaster prone, but because of the actions of people, because of real action them in the environment, we don't make the areas them very, very prone to disaster. We make they make the soil unstable with the
minimal activities.
Yes, with the cuts wait inside enough for do. You go look outside until we don't make they don't designate as a water catchment area. Past then they enforce and now like so strict that people if you want to go build inside the water catchment areas, and some of the areas then when you pull them, the population is suffer, and most of the time the effects them can look small, but then it accumulates with time. Where when it hits, the destruction is so much that you wonder if now from that small thing there where you start that did it happen. It just like once you will be the study we then call the chaos theory. A lot of irrelevant things then they come together for make they accumulate to a particular point. And you then look at that man don't go cut that stick. That man don't go dig one hole. They don't look related. But then with time, the thick way cuts, the whole way it make, it destabilize the soil in another way it can affect me and you. We know to we even go do the thing. So now we see, and now make we appreciate His Excellency where himself go unveil that tablet. At least then they self show his own commitment towards mitigating climate change effects within the country. And we will continue for appeal to them for making support them, because right now we need them kind of face them for making team up and say now this for happen. And when you kind of face team up and say now this they happen, each and every person, each and every agency we involved go come on board and say, okay, this now the president's in dream, so low safely be
for support.
Yes.
And that all the part of in our action plans and subsequent activities and projects in our 10 for do.
Now part of the action plans then that make we get for ensure that we partner and properly meet with each and every one of the agencies there. And one other set of people we thinking we can look out of this thing, the private individuals then get a lot of say in waiting they happen. More like where the world they go towards privatization. You they see a lot of areas there now, now private people and they take care of the. So we get for engage them safe and ensure that whatever activities they do, where they make areas they're more prone to disaster, then we'll see how they're able for do them in a sustainable way. We're able for maintain that balance, because when you maintain that balance, at least mortal man and the trees them go able for day in harmony.
So, but in also they encourage them, like if you cut one that law, we say cut one, he plans to take them. That did not seem for the old water, because I remember the president, you know, we make huge commitments now. The COP26, and also we see government support about 2 million trees. Them say them for plant 2 million trees, and we see the president now go starts the tree planting, you know, and we see that kind of commitments there, but we still see people are not seem to follow through on waiting the president be say.
Well, now that make we the canal for remind the president of his commitments then towards the environment. Because this not for me and you now today, but this like commitment to we picking them. Now we're able for left a legacy for we picking them, where they go in a world where at least we all be able for live comfortably, where the effects of we development, because a lot of the NTS on technological developments cause them. Now we want a gold na this particular area. Because of that, we flood the rivers them with dirty, where they kill the fish them, where they make the water murky, you're not able to drink them. We want lithium na some area. Because of that lithium there, but we can able for sidom and dialogue with the necessary authorities them, advocate with them, we then go develop a system where go make whatever thing that they do for way that they do for modify the environment, for make it be sustainable and make it be applicable, where the communities them not go be affected that kind of way, but themselves go even able to benefit from whatever they happen within their communities.
And I got plan for Motome community.
Well, currently we just don't begin for support for let themselves do a memorial towards that day.
That's a part of the project.
Yes, that's a part of the project. Every year now, with God is in help and with the support of donors them, at least we can able to bring them together, do a service, or support the current process with them in, because every year they get a memorial service. But we bring them can together at the place, because when they see, they don't go forget it will happen, and they go always remember where at least it can pick their conscience, where go make people and say, oh no, this is not for happening again. And 1,141 people for die, that kind of thing, that kind of way. It's not easy. It's heart-rending. Now it's just a look at like a statistics.
Yeah.
But when you see them in reality, if they lay 10 bodies who say front you the panic. Before I see 1,000.
That day was a very sad day for
it was a very sad day for Sierra Leone. So at least we try now. Now make people and they remember, let them they recollect that day and see how best they're able for coming, and let the community self engage themselves, let them become empowered enough for make them know waiting and can do, so that that thing we happy, that matter we happy, let not happen again.
I know. But quickly, like country ambassador Carlos, I know that they work with and transit ill, but also how are you able to figure out and able to identify beneficiaries then, because that is also very important, you know, and for identify. There are a lot of people who know that will be the challenge government they get. They go to the community and you go meet people every day. We would say, well, who's be affected? Maybe me, mama be die, me papa be die. But for identify them people, and also not be a great challenge. And we'll be interview after the incident. We'll be going at the senior interview. Most of the people that will be affected, then say they challenge you, then they get, they not the benefit because other people don't claim, say they lost them people them, you know, doing that thing. But for identify the real people that were affected, how that be look like for you now? Okay,
for the past 5 years, we don't sponsor Transit Ale for, you know, for implement and get this anniversary every year. So when this thing be happen, in 2016 when in the acting on that particular day. The first thing we'll do, the first support we provide Transit Hill for provide them with the manpower, because we get a huge youth volunteers them with the work with the organization. We provide them with volunteers them. We go na the scene. Majority of the youths them where you be see in a particular place on that day, these were volunteers from TNAP social movements will be there for one, get first-hand information, two, help for able for move bodies them, able for identify the victims them, the survivors them, and also the people who will be saying relatives them to the victims them or the one who will be passed away. So through that, we'll be able to get first-hand information of the one the way NB said they were really and directly affected by that particular eruption.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Ambassador, and also Mr. Roland, who can talk on that. But Fatima also a human rights man and a man that no salon person would tell me say be happy because very sad day. You see, mortuary be packed full. They actually able to take the body there inside, and though they left them. For sure the kind seriousness of that thing there. I think we all wake up very sad, na siari no more there. By the time the married and sina motome, things happen. Like very sadly, Fatuma, na salon 6 years on, probably one for look at from the human rights point of view.
Well, I mean, currently they're part of this country history and a very bitter history. But then we also they're part of the growing threat globally and on climate change. So now you see the United Nations, they move towards climate change and human rights and urging state parties, member state parties like Sierra Leone as a member of the United Nations and also other countries and also involving private corporations and for see how best and be able for bring mitigating factors and see how we go rapidly help and prevent the threat on human security from climate change. So definitely it get a lot of involvement with human rights and currently as an organization they look into environmental governance issue where they do a lengthy study but I can only stop there for now.
I know.
With regards to that, but it will be so much beneficial to the work with them they do, and it will give them a lot of insight, as to move forward or any other organization or government.
I know probably in a killing cup with Abdul Fatuma, it's a very seasoned professional man when it comes into the area and there as well. But generally, Chadi currently they engage Sierra Leoneans, community people, stakeholders. The aftermath of the election, looking at the promoting social cohesion and community dialogue. That is very significant as we move towards, development. We don't see parliaments open and the president don't go open. Also, the president make one of the most shortest speech ever, call on dialogue. And recently we see Dr. Samoa Kamara tweet and say it's high time we go into dialogue as a country. All of that is about the good of Sierra Leone for let peace and national cohesion take place. But how the engagement on the go so far with community people?
Okay, we, four institutions. We get the Interreligious Council, we get the Eminent Women Peace Mediators, we get Campaign for Human Rights and Development, where they work for, and also ECSL. We get a group what we call Election Conflict Prevention and Mediation Working Group. You be host me in one of your program before the election, 5 months before the election, where we've been getting pre-elections engagement with stakeholders across the country as well. And we also decide for do that after elections, when at the post-election, during and after the election. So now we focus on the challenging issues where Sierra Leone face every day. We don't reach to a point, we don't lack trust in everything we do, including people around we, including with religious houses, including, with community leaders. So how we lost this trend, some of we grew up in this country, the community leader and the religious leader, then I be the key mediators in a community, even with bush fet they for them, or boundary issue for them within chiefdom. I be religious leader and community leaders, and that means the paramount chiefs or the section chiefs and then district and they. And then first they gather and try to mediate that issue before the central government they ever come into being. So during the Civil War, we also see the pivotal role where religious, leaders then play in terms of bringing the war refraction, and people then together, the RAF, and the government of Sierra Leone, how best we can resolve we own differences. Now we on table. So the election coming, we see a lot of tension. So we get opinions of traditional leaders, like for Freetown, we'll be able to gather all the 16 tribes, headman them and engage them and ask them. We also be gather, religious leaders and from all denominations where they practice religious issues in this country. That waiting actually don't make them don't lose the presence and value. The presence there, but a lot of people no value that presence. So it they like day. So how can they stand and actually talk something authoritatively? Government and the community listen to them. So if a problem for them, how the community go able for go to them. So they share a lot of challenges with regards to that engagement. They will move go bold. We get a mixture of that when we go up country. We get a security sector, we get a political parties, we get religious leaders and traditional leaders as well, with civil society. For there we actually look, waiting don't make we not get community leadership where we go trust and engage when we get crisis in our community. Waiting don't make we not get a strong and reliable trust, into religious leaders and at the religious houses and we go pray, every day. So we able to get a whole thing like, both we get a testimony where, two people say, happy that they attend this kind of program for express, the victimization we then go through during the election. So for them, this be serve as a TRC something. Like they get grief in them, but they're not able for get a platform. Also then we're able for download them, stress them, they aggrieve things and will be so much good. You go Mayamba, we're able to get similar thing in a mix even like Mayamba, they were not focused on political issues only. They were also focused on social economical issues and the right to health. Challenging issues that where they currently emerge on the community. But then both the local authority and the central government, they pay huge attention to. And then see and say that a recipe for let disaster go struck another part of the country. We also do that at Tonkolili, where people then be able to come out and express concern about how, then they left out. When it comes to national resources and the distribution of national resources. We also go put local, we're able to get similar experience, on social, political issues, where then they express dissatisfaction about how issues they happen, with certain set of Sierra Leoneans. So, it's good for let we collect that and try for inject the community dialogue spirit into with community leaders and also social cohesion promotion into with religious leaders because these people for the money, let's say Sunday for example, out of 8 million people, roughly, it's not official statistics, we get 2 million people will go church. And the church leaders then talk to them about how we be one and respect one another and move this country in peace. Then on Friday, you have another 3 million people, we go to the mosque for go get them Juma prayer. The imam them, talk to them about national cohesion and also community leadership. So if we engage in that constantly, maybe for 5 to 6 years, we'll be able to get a different dynamic of Sierra Leone. So, that might be the essence. We get a support from Open Foundation Society. We support this initiative from the start of election and also the post-election. So, that not the campaign where we drive in and it also linked to within Roland and say, because it's very much important for let we get a cohesion in we as a country. Because some people, because they not happen in we own community, we don't care about them. But then they see the thing they happen, but then get expertise, where they able for lend to this other community for help them prevent that situation. But if we just don't say no, that this set of tribe of people, then they go live up that side there. So then they're their own business. They are not on, then they say then they go uphill. But it is a concern to we. I mean, whatever action me and you take inside, it relate to the life of people in this country. Because now we know how powerful media they. We do on social media. If we say any word we can bring chaos in this country, less than a minute, this country they into chaos. So now that may make we all for be watchful of our actions and watchful of we words them.
But so far, how the dialogue don't take place? Is people accept, like you mentioned, there are few people believing we should be able to dialogue as a citizen, follow we ensure that we able to get development. If development in the country, obviously we can able to achieve what we want to achieve as Sierra Leoneans. But with their engagement and they are committed, then people in the be, for go out and pass the message and also, let them be the leader, for talk about peace and national cohesion.
Like, for when they host this issue, any target group we make an ownership. Like among themselves, we make them coordinate, and we they facilitate, the process. Like we get the financial resources, support with and give it. So we ensure that it come with money. Then we get a limited amount of people we go attend because we get for getting transport or get for provide food for them. So even though we get a number where we they call, each of these places we get more than 20% of the targeted number we will forget. Maybe meaning we they go above we budget estimation. And the eagerness and the call for this issue continue to be constantly. Some people say even every month. Some people say every 3 months. And across the country, everywhere we go, people keep demanding for it more and more. And like this kind of thing is good. And you see paramount chiefs then they interact with their subject and the subject and they talk say, we not be get this opportunity, even though the chief barrier, but we not get that confidence. For good day. Then policemen they talk about how citizens therefore actually help to promote social cohesion or community dialogue issue. Because once we get a platform, we they engage citizens for abide to law and order, this give a stronger opportunity for let the police not go be overstretched. But in a country where we not get much citizens educated about the law, police go be always overstretched. And in a country where you they enjoy, then they go parliament, then say police forget 6 billion. But then the year go down, police only get 2 billion. Yeah. Right? And so the police go can tell you, say, we don't get the required resources, like the environmental protection we Roland talk about. Maybe then go parliament approve over 3 billion for help organization like them, for help mitigate, climate change crisis then, that the environment, or Ministry of Youth for this young man, But then, if the Ministry of Youth or their national institutions and they're not able to get the required resources for supporting people there, it's going to be a problem. So always, now that they make advanced country, they invest a lot into civic organizations then for engage the people then at the community. So the people then will be aware, they're knowledgeable. So this always help for prevent even either environmental issues, antisocial behavior, or other crimes then when they happen. Even help for reduce lesser human rights attention. Because outside poverty today, then lower money, much money no they for actually flow to state institutions and way for deliver public service good to citizens. You see a lot of crisis in that country. And where there is a crisis, there is a human rights concern. So now that make you can see say, whenever this thing happens, some man not left with press release. But now we all work for always constantly bang on the door to duty bearers about their sacred responsibility when in the constitution and other law in this country prescribe.
So we can talk about, I know in I get to that place that we not get for engage, the people who not engaged so far, whether they get for involved the security sector. I know the last thing I've been engaged security sector, the market women, you know, and other sectors
Disabled
as well,
people,
disabled as well, will also can play pivotal role into that as well. But Bola, come to you, and you think that we need community dialogue, engagement, for people to understand the seriousness about climate issue. You know, while we still talk about the multimedia, but it's linked with how we able for make people understand that if government don't put the green belt, you know, for mover, you know, for move one day. And you find out, say, around the peninsula also, that know they happen, and when they move the green belt, you see the place don't clean. You know, it don't clean. And that's one of the reasons and we make even the motorway we get that issue, because people ain't clean, then place and they cut the tip there, move the green belt, you have to satisfy yourself. But at the end, the bad thing come back to us as citizens.
Yeah, and when you look holistically at the whole thing really happen, that make when you do that thing there, so you look at the long term and the short term thing them. In the short term, right now we get for sit down and look at anything will happen, what you go do. We will provide education, we will provide this, we will provide transitional support, all that kind of thing. But then in the long term, if it happen again, waiting go do. We need for engage the communities then. We need for train the communities then. You find out, say, when disaster happen, most of the people where they go, they're not trained, they don't know waiting they go do. They just they go. Now make you go find out some man are in limb no more in the pool because sometimes when that man take pickaxe, he just they dig no more like that. You not even get the professional know-how on how for handle anything and day. So now make all the state actors them need for come together and ensure that then communities they also be empowered enough for make them able for stop the encroachment here so beyond the green belt. When I'm in a teach na Hastings, you find out see any sideway they no see government don't designate. Then they sell the something 1/10 of the price compared to the side them way. It happen. But then the only thing where government need for do ensure see there areas there so if we don't say now we get it, let me say now we get it. If we don't say this area, like how they get the national protected area authority so then they go to their areas and enforce. And the government self supposed for they be there for motivate them enough so that they able for do the work way they send them for. Because at the end of the day, the authority not they able they all side. It's not possible they're not they all side. But then if you don't train volunteers them within the community, they don't know how to be prepared for disaster. Then community stakeholders here so you don't engage them. They don't know how they able for benefit from their land here, where they not sell them, where they not compromise the land. Then you find out say at the end of the day, the communities them self they take responsibility now of their actions them. But right I go ask her, they go say na so person na sell. They go say that this na and the community don't get hold over them.
I know.
And some of them green belts and the person go. Some man they go no more wake like na. But if I go put force.
Now they start.
That day they start. Before they wake up, people goes on. Now they sell the place now. Like say na. So if the community they don't come, they don't be empowered. All the state actors them come into play and ensure that they give them their communities there so the necessary empowerment, the necessary training, the strength for making the acts for the communities them. Then I sure see now one of the biggest mitigating two land they will go able to use for ensure that they left for encroach into the lands there as well.
And also the call for support and partnership.
Yes, we call for support and partnership, and we intend for partner with because we can't do everything, possible. We the thing normal we be able for do, we will do our best. We'll partner with other organizations and we'll partner with commercial institutions and like how they partner with TNAP. So TNAP they provide we volunteers them we side we not able to reach, then they reach the side we not able to provide that support, that labor, that capacity for do certain things. We just say we supervise them normal now, and then they provide the necessary services for we. And the partnership are the best way that they at least will be able to move from this point to the next level. Because when on a partner, each and every partner they come with own
in a social organization or a social movement, we always there for provide services for young people, humanitarian support, psychological support, logistical support, and also volunteers. The more we get, we do always provide them with their volunteers there. We get youth volunteers the way in BC, we get adult mentors the way they mentor them volunteers there. So where they train them, then go through capacity building training on disaster risk management and a lot of things that were related to disaster management. And upon having this training from the mentors them, whenever there is any disaster eruption, we provide the volunteers, then go there, do needs assessments, and also able for evaluate and get first-hand information. We're able for identify the immediate family members that were a victim or survivors them of that particular disaster that we erupt in our community.
Okay.
So we will always continue for to go on finishing support to the Transit Hills organization.
Okay, but I'll come to you, Fatuma, and how would the project therefore look like now? I know there are continuous engagements. We very need them at this time as we move towards, and properly development, because we don't see the government don't present in Big Five, and that the goal is achievable if we get, if we able to promote peace, national cohesion, and within the country. But how the engagement therefore continue? I know there are sectors we also important for engage. We get the market woman, we get the disabled, the vulnerable people, we get the community stakeholders, Edmund and the paramount chieftain, the security sector, the young people, all of them sector, then they get pivotal role for play in maintaining and promoting social cohesion and community dialogue.
Well, all of these sectors there we don't call, nobody know the way don't left out, you know, since we start this project back in June, and to date, we don't get, you know, political parties and EMDs and security sector, ONS, and, you know, the Israeli police, even the ASLAF, you know, we don't even forget a contribution towards national cohesion and community dialogue, and the most other important entry point into we community or we society, the community leaders and also religious leaders. And if we as a country, we lack respect and trust, you know, for the local structures, and a huge problem. But then, as you say, you know, any government, if they want to survive, you know, survive mean for actually work for them people then, and let the people then see the reflect of that government work. You get a community engagement, and that only comes through community dialogue. You may ask Roland that. Even the mitigation factors, and it's the dialogue issues. Those who are threatening the environment and those who are for the protection of the environment. How we go able to bring them two people then they together in the community and see a reason how collectively, you know, non-state actors and state actors, we aim for protect environment where we all go live freely and live happily. So it also comes to the social, you know, economic issues. Like now, you know, all around Salon people get worried about Kush issue, but it's also a community engagement issue. It's not only about public education or public awareness situation. It's about how do we engage the community, you know, for let them look into this hazard where they actually caught life short from this country generation. So if you just approach people based on the resources where you get, then you actually miss out. What if you go engage the people in a potluck? The major concern now not to actually own free quality education or neither, you know, other social mobility issues. You go Cambia, for example, the threatening of cutting down of trees for timber logging and other things. So the road network and also the environment are a huge concern to them. Then you even maybe consider not for go with electricity to them, because you can give them the electricity, but the environment they're under threat. That, you know, just one wave, that entire electricity and everything wipe out. But the major concern will be how we go protect the environment for the community will be. So that's not the reason why we need community dialogue. We engage communities and for we actually assess the need. And with that, then every development agency or government want to help them people there. It clearly know what in the Moteme community need. You know, what in Sugar Loaf community need, what in Susan's Bay need, what in Hastings community need. You know, the community where I grew up, Wellington, what in they want. Yeah. You know, like constantly WhatsApp business are a huge challenge in that community. You know, when there is in the kind of people in another part, they start for worried. So since we gain independent, people in another part, they still struggle how to get access to clean pipe-borne water. And we get several other communities that will get their own immediate challenges there. But if we engage them through community dialogue, then we enhance the people and the power. You know, that, I mean, the power belongs to una. The sovereignty way, the constitution they talk about, it belongs to una, the people. Una determine what una community want. And the government in say, we get the resources, we get the technicality for help una, for let una get what una community want, and let we as a country, we achieve what we want. But we get that breakdown of communication within the government and the people. I mean, not go na radio, not go na television, you say, we don't go meet the people. Or go na one community, they forget the other community inside the same geographical location. So we don't go talk to them people then. Draw people from different, you know, walks of life, get them involved. You know, as long as it's national issue, let it be national. Let the face look like a national, you know, conversation. So now that actually, you know, we promotion on social cohesion and community dialogue, you know, they try for achieve and portray.
Okay, with the round up, Roland, what thing will you final message and in commemorating of the day?
Today like Dominic and 6 years where this tears would have, where this mudslide don't happen at Salone. And going on, you see say you still they see the thing them we make that mudslide happen. The deforestation. You see people in the billows, suicide enough for billows. You see that they deplete the green zone. It just say go up, they go up no more. And if as a country, if as an organization, we able for engage the communities they are so, if we able for engage the government, then the to environmental THO, because that's so we can call ourselves. THO believes say we're able for we're not able for stop climate change, but we're able to slow them down and it will reduce the effects them na the disaster prone areas them. So areas them na because of poverty, some areas them because some man feel say na free turn no more for candy. So areas them now because of just their location. So because of that, then the SFCF become prone to disaster. So now we try for let work with all we partners them. We bring together all we objectives them, education, partnership, all climate resilience, capacity building on education and all that things, and they will bring and come together and try to create a plan where each and every person can come together now, each and every actor, both state and non-states, come together and see how we go able for make sure see Salone we become a force for be reckoned with. We become like that kind of face of the world where people and go become where people and go they admire. We say Salone at least they don't move from this point to this point in terms of climate change responsibilities.
Okay, thank you very much, Roland, from Transit Organization. And Carlos?
Yeah, there is one unique thing we attract we as an organization for support Transit Ale. Then we write to a couple of weeks ago for support them again for this year because we support them every year. So when they write way back, the unique thing where they don't do and when they still they do gets for do it's the anniversary. The anniversary are like having these people in a particular place in their community to reflect on, you know, some of the mistakes that they make where resulted to that particular incident that will happen. You understand? And also make them able to reflect and know say, oh, there are some factors, there are some preventive measures that they need for take for prevent the occurrences of what's be happen at particular points in time there. So currently as I talk to you, so the plans are ongoing there. At the community, some of the volunteers are there already, and also Transit Hills members are here already to engage the community in a community dialogue where they go come on board and then go able for know, and we go able still do them before stop for do them because we not go want a reoccurrence of what's be happen. So we get this anniversary what we do with them every year. Who they support Transit Aid for do this anniversary for this reflection, something like a memorial service where you know we'll get them together, talk on some of the mistakes that they make where results of this particular thing, and make them know say we are always there to support them. We are always there to amplify their voices on issues where they are affecting our community, and for see how best we will able for solicit funding from international and non-governmental organizations, and for support we also be able for channel related support to them as an organization.
Abdul Fatoma from Chad.
Yeah, and they continue with the engagement, but the lifespan of that project they end this year, and hopefully with a report and recommendation to we donors, definitely if they say We create a lot of impact, which we believe, and continue to get the support, then definitely we will continue to give the people of Australia the opportunity for come together for dialogue and come together for promote social cohesion and how best we can improve on our country.
All right, thank you very much, Abdul Fatuma from Chadi, and Ambassador Paul Carlos Samuels, Director of Communication for Timapwe, an independent national park organization, and to you, Roland, from the Transit Hill organization. You want to say something?
Well, as my final statement, one thing we just continue to emphasize now for let we build the capacity of people them, community people them, for let them able for the deal with the disaster incidents also. And we continue for appeal to the government. Let the government continue for support the communities there also na disaster prone areas, because when the research when the report from the research go get for come out, we will get for ensure say we present the document to the necessary stakeholders them, and we pray that they will take the necessary actions so that climate change will go mitigate the effects them within Salone.
Thank you very much, Roland, and Ambassador Carlos and Abdul Fatuma from Chadi. Well, also we're in this edition of News and Current Affairs show this day. And this day, we'll continue with Salone Decides and special edition. Till tomorrow for another edition of This Day. Do have a lovely day. And many thanks to the production and technical team. Till then, bye for now. Good afternoon.